That is so fucking cool to, obviously my mom's a psychologist, so I grew up and I think mental health was not a conversation for most families, and hopefully it will be, but like I've watched my mom talk to so many people and talk them through how to get over a panic attack, how to get over anxiety, how to not get over it, but like manage it, live with it, be okay to go about your everyday life. I think sometimes if you don't have anxiety, people look at people with anxiety like, just get the fuck over it. And I think it shows up in everyone's lives in such different ways. And I
don't think that's the way you can look at it, you know? Yeah. I think everybody's situation is individual.
In the heyday of paparazzi and insanity, like what would be something that would really trigger your anxiety in those days?
Just the idea of like not being able to just do normal things, like to just go outside and like walk out onto the street, you know, like, because where we lived it was kind of a bit crazy, and there's just people always there like waiting to take a photo and stuff. And obviously thinking about having a child and like raising her in that environment, it was just very claustrophobic for me. I didn't want her to have to be like exposed to that because she didn't choose it, you know, like it was a choice that I made. So I was like, we need to get out of here so that she can have some chance of like a normal childhood, you know, where there's not cameras flashing in her face constantly. So I think we kind of touched on it a bit earlier, like when we were talking about, you know, like the nature of our job, you know, like what we were doing in the band and the situation being on stage in front of thousands of people. I think it's a really normal place to experience anxiety, you know, like you're going to go and perform in front of, you know, a lot of different people that you don't know who they are, and it's not a natural thing to do, you know, in terms of everyday life. You don't just talk to thousands of people, you know, so it was something that I had to, you know, learn to adjust. Anxiety for me, I've learned is a feeling that now has a word, you know, and I feel like for generations human beings have felt it and not really even been able to put, you know, the finger on what it is, but we overcome it, you know, and certain things in life can change your perspective on them things. And I think for me, like since I've had my daughter and since she was born, like the main thing in my mind is like trying to be a good example to her, like in terms of, you know, I can do things and I can achieve things and I can overcome things and you can do this too, and to let things like, you know, a feeling stop you from doing that after having a child feels like a really small thing. Like I feel like I've like had to step up, you know, as a man or just, you know, as a person. And be this example to her that doesn't succumb to these feelings. That's why I'm even doing this interview, you know, like I used to get a lot of anxiety around like having a conversation like this, just in this kind of environment, and I want her to be able to look at me and be like, yo, my dad's doing this, you know, he's the man.